I was halfway through my third glass of wine when I said the words that would change everything. Marry me. I didn't mean it. Not really. It was late, I was tired, and the woman on the phone, the voice I'd been hiring for 6 months to narrate my company's training videos, had just made me laugh for the first time in weeks. So I said it, like a joke, like nothing. There was silence on the other end. Then she spoke. Okay. My hand froze on the glass. What? I said okay, she repeated. Her voice was calm, steady, the same voice that had been reading scripts about workplace safety and customer service protocols. I'll marry you. I should have laughed it off. I should have told her I was kidding. But something in her tone stopped me. Something that sounded like she meant it. You're serious? Are you? I wasn't. I hadn't been. But sitting there in my empty apartment, looking at the photo of my 2 kids on the mantle, kids I barely saw anymore since the divorce, I realized something. I was tired of being alone. Yes, I said. I'm serious. Before we continue, comment below where in the world you are watching from. Thank you. Let me back up. My name is David. I'm 47 years old. I run a mid-sized tech company in Seattle. On paper, my life looks good. Successful business. Nice apartment. 2 healthy children. But paper doesn't show the whole truth. The truth is, I've been divorced for 3 years. The truth is, my ex-wife remarried within a year and moved to Portland with my kids. The truth is, I see my son and daughter every other weekend if I'm lucky, and most nights I come home to silence. The kind of silence that makes you feel like you're disappearing. 6 months before that phone call, I hired a woman named Claire to do voice work for my company. We needed someone to record training modules, and her demo reel was perfect. Professional, warm, clear. I never met her in person. Everything was done through email and phone calls. But over time, those calls got longer. At first, it was just about the scripts. She'd ask questions about pronunciation or tone. I'd give feedback. But then one day, after we finished a recording session, she asked me how my day was. It was such a simple question. I told her the truth. I told her it had been hard. That I'd missed my daughter's school play because of a meeting I couldn't reschedule. That I felt like I was failing at the only thing that really mattered. She didn't give me advice. She didn't tell me it would be okay. She just listened. And then she said, "That sounds really painful." Those 4 words cracked something open inside me. After that, our conversations changed. We'd finish the work, and then we'd talk. About life. About loneliness. About what it felt like to keep going when you weren't sure why you were going anymore. I learned that she was 43. That she lived in a small town in Montana. That she'd never been married. That she spent most of her time alone, recording voices for people she'd never meet. Do you ever get lonely? I asked her once. There was a pause. Every day, she said. Her honesty made me feel less alone. The night I proposed, if you can call it that, wasn't special. It was a Tuesday. We'd just finished recording a module about conflict resolution in the workplace. I was drinking wine because I'd had a long day. Because my son had barely spoken to me during our last video call. Because I was tired of pretending I was fine. Claire made a joke about the script. Something about how ironic it was that I was teaching people how to resolve conflict when I couldn't even figure out my own life. It wasn't a mean joke. It was gentle, understanding, and it made me laugh. That's when I said it. Marry me. The silence that followed felt like falling. When she said yes, I didn't know what to do. Part of me wanted to take it back, to laugh and say I was kidding. But another part of me, the part that was so tired of being alone, wanted to see what would happen if I didn't. Why? I finally asked. Why what? Why would you say yes to someone you've never met? There was another pause. Longer this time. Because you're the only person who talks to me like I'm real, she said. And I think I do the same for you. She was right. In all the months we'd been talking, she'd never once made me feel small. She'd never judged me for my failures or my regrets. She just listened. And somehow, in her listening, I felt seen. So what do we do now? I asked. I don't know, she said. But I think we should find out. We didn't tell anyone. Not at first. For the next 2 weeks, we kept talking like we always had. But now there was something different underneath. Something we were both aware of, but didn't quite know how to name. We started asking each other questions we'd never asked before. What's your favorite meal? She asked one night. Spaghetti, I said. The kind my mom used to make. With too much garlic and not enough salt. She laughed. That sounds terrible. It was, I admitted. But I loved it anyway. What about you? I asked. What's yours? Anything I don't have to cook, she said. I'm not very good at it. Really? Really? I once burned water. How do you burn water? I don't know. But I managed. We laughed together. And for a moment, it felt easy. But then reality would creep back in. David, she said one night, what are we actually doing? I didn't have an answer. I don't know, I admitted. But I don't want to stop. Neither do I, she said quietly. My daughter, Emma, was the one who noticed something was different. She was 12, old enough to pick up on things I thought I was hiding. Dad, you seem happy, she said during one of our video calls. I blinked. Do I? Yeah, you're smiling more. My son Luke, who was 9, leaned into the frame. Are you dating someone? My face went hot. What? No. Why would you? Because you look like Uncle Jake did when he met Aunt Sarah, Emma said. She was studying me with that careful, knowing look kids get when they're trying to figure out their parents. I'm not dating anyone, I said. Which was technically true. I wasn't dating Claire. We'd never even met. But Emma didn't look convinced. Okay, she said slowly. But if you were, that would be okay. You know that, right? Something in my chest tightened. Thanks, sweetheart, I said softly. After the call ended, I sat there for a long time, staring at the blank screen. My kids wanted me to be happy. They were giving me permission to move on. But was I moving on? Or was I just hiding in another kind of loneliness? I told Claire about the conversation that night. Your daughter sounds wise, she said. She is. Too wise for 12. Do you think you'd ever tell them about me? The question hung in the air. I don't know, I said honestly. What would I even say? Hey kids, I proposed to a woman I've never met and she said yes? They'd think I lost my mind. Maybe you did, Claire said. But her voice was gentle, not mocking. Did you? I asked. Lose your mind? Probably, she admitted. But I don't regret it. Why not? She was quiet for a moment. Because for the first time in a long time, I feel like I'm part of something, she said. Even if it doesn't make sense. Even if it's just this. Talking to you every night. It's more than I had before. Her words settled into me like stones in water. I feel the same way, I said. But feeling something and doing something about it are two different things. We kept talking. We kept calling each other. But we didn't make plans to meet. We didn't talk about what marriage would actually look like. We just existed in this strange in-between space. Until one night, Emma called me. Not during our scheduled time. Late. Almost 10 o'clock. Dad. Her voice was small. Emma, what's wrong? Mom and Paul had a fight. Paul was her stepfather. A decent guy, from what I could tell. But not her father. Are you okay? I asked, my heart racing. Yeah. I wanted to hear your voice. I closed my eyes. I'm here, sweetheart. I'm always here. I know, she said. But sometimes it doesn't feel like it. The words hit me like a fist. I'm sorry, I whispered. I'm so sorry. It's okay, Dad. I just miss you. I miss you too. So much. We talked for another hour. About nothing important. About everything important. And when we finally hung up, I felt something shift inside me. I was tired of being halfway present in my own life. I was tired of letting fear keep me from the people I loved. I called Claire. I want to meet you, I said. When? She asked. Soon. This month. There was a long silence. Okay, she said finally. Where? Montana. I'll come to you. Are you sure? No. I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure about any of this. But I was tired of living in uncertainty. Yes, I said. I'm sure. We picked a date 2 weeks out. A Saturday. I'd fly into Missoula and drive to her town. We'd meet at a coffee shop. It felt surreal. Like planning a first date and a marriage at the same time. David, she said the night before I was supposed to fly out. What if we meet and it's not? What if it doesn't work? Then we'll know, I said. But at least we'll know. I'm scared, she admitted. Me too. But you're still coming? I'm still coming. The flight to Montana felt longer than it should have. I kept checking my phone, rereading the texts Claire had sent. She'd given me the name of the coffee shop, a place called The Daily Grind. Small, quiet, the kind of place where everyone knows everyone. I tried to imagine what she looked like. I'd seen one photo of her, a profile picture she'd used for her voice work. But it was a few years old. Professional. Distant. I wondered if she was doing the same thing. wondering about me. I wondered if I'd disappoint her. The drive from the airport to her town took an hour. The landscape was beautiful. Mountains in the distance. Wide open skies. The kind of place that made you feel small in a good way. I parked outside the coffee shop at exactly 2 o'clock. Our agreed time. I sat in the car for 5 minutes, trying to breathe. Then I went inside. The shop was small, just like I'd imagined. A few tables. A counter with pastries under glass. The smell of coffee and something sweet. And there, sitting at a table by the window, was Claire. I knew it was her immediately. Not because she looked like her photo, though she did, but because of the way she was sitting. Straight-backed, hands folded on the table. Nervous but trying not to show it. She looked up when I walked in. Our eyes met, and for a moment, neither of us moved. Then she stood up. "David," she said. Her voice. The same voice I'd been listening to for months. But now it had a body. A face. A real person attached to it. "Claire," I said. We stood there, awkward, unsure. Then she smiled. Small. Tentative. "Hi," she said. "Hi," I said back. And just like that, the strangeness started to fade. We ordered coffee. We sat down. For the first few minutes, neither of us knew what to say. It was strange, being face to face after so many months of phone calls. Strange to see her hands move as she talked. Strange to watch her expressions change. But also familiar. "This is weird," she said finally, laughing a little. "Very weird," I agreed. "But good weird." I thought about it. "Yeah, good weird." She took a sip of her coffee. "So, what now?" "I don't know," I admitted. I didn't really plan past this part. "Me neither." We sat in silence for a moment. Then she said, "Tell me something I don't know about you." I thought about it. "I'm terrified of failing my kids," I said. "Every decision I make, I wonder if I'm messing them up. If they'll look back one day and hate me for not being there enough." She didn't look away. Didn't flinch. "I don't think they will," she said quietly. "I think they'll remember that you loved them. Even when it was hard." "How do you know?" "Because that's what I remember about my dad," she said. "He worked 3 jobs. I barely saw him. But I never doubted that he loved me." Her words settled something in me. "Your turn," I said. "Tell me something I don't know." She hesitated. "I said yes to you because I was tired of being safe," she said. "I've spent my whole life being careful. Not taking risks. Not putting myself out there. And I'm tired of it. I wanted to do something crazy. Something that scared me." "Am I scary?" I asked, trying to lighten the mood. She smiled. "Terrifying." We both laughed. And it felt good. We spent the rest of the afternoon together. We walked through town. She showed me the places she loved. The library where she volunteered. The park where she went to think. The diner where she got breakfast every Sunday. It was a small life. A quiet life. But it was hers. "Do you ever wish you lived somewhere bigger?" I asked. "Sometimes," she admitted. "But mostly no. I like the quiet." "I don't think I ever have," I said. "Quiet?" "Yeah. My whole life has been noise. Work. Divorce. Kids. I don't think I've ever just stopped." "Do you want to?" I thought about it. "I think I do," I said. "I just don't know how." She looked at me. Really looked at me. "Maybe that's something we could figure out together," she said. We had dinner at the diner. Burgers and fries. Nothing fancy. But it felt like the best meal I'd had in years. "Can I ask you something?" Claire said, pushing a fry around her plate. "Of course. Do you regret it? Asking me to marry you?" I didn't answer right away. "No," I said finally. "I don't." "Do you regret saying yes?" "No," she said. "But I keep waiting for the moment when it stops making sense." "And has it?" She looked up at me. "Not yet." I flew back to Seattle the next day. But something had changed. Claire wasn't just a voice anymore. She was a person. A real person who I'd sat across from. Who I'd walked beside. Who I'd laughed with. And I couldn't stop thinking about her. We talked every day, just like before. But now the calls felt different. More grounded. More real. "What are we doing, David?" she asked one night. "I don't know," I said. "But I don't want to stop." "Me neither. But we can't keep doing this forever. At some point, we have to decide." "Decide what?" "If this is real," she said. "Or if we're just hiding." Her words sat heavy in my chest. "What do you think?" I asked. "I think it's real," she said quietly. "But I also think we're both scared." She was right. I was scared. Scared of failing again. Scared of hurting her. Scared of losing the one good thing I had. "What if I told my kids about you?" I said suddenly. What? What if I told them? Would that make it more real? She was quiet for a long time. Only if you're ready, she said. I told Emma and Luke the next weekend. They were at my apartment for the weekend. Rare, but their mom had a work trip and Paul couldn't take them. We were eating pizza on the couch when I said it. There's someone I want you to meet. Emma looked up. A girlfriend? Not exactly, I said. It's complicated. How complicated? Luke asked, his mouth full of pizza. I asked her to marry me. Both kids froze. You what? Emma said. I told them the whole story. Or most of it. How I'd met Claire through work. How we'd talked for months. How I'd asked her as a joke but meant it. How she'd said yes. They stared at me like I'd grown a second head. Dad, Emma said slowly. That's insane. I know. But also kind of romantic, she added, glancing at Luke. Luke shrugged. I don't get it. But if you're happy, I guess it's okay. My throat tightened. You guys are okay with this? Emma looked at me seriously. Dad, we just want you to not be sad all the time. Those words cracked me open. I love you both so much, I said, pulling them into a hug. We love you too, Dad, Emma said. But you're definitely crazy. That night, after the kids were asleep, I called Claire. I told them, I said. How did it go? Better than I thought. They think I'm insane, but they're okay with it. She laughed. That's good. Claire, I said. I want this to be real. Not just phone calls. Not just visits. Real. What does that mean? I don't know yet, I admitted. But I think we should find out. Together. There was a long pause. Okay, she said. Let's find out. Over the next few months, Claire and I fell into a new rhythm. I flew to Montana once a month. She came to Seattle twice. We met each other's lives slowly. Carefully. I introduced her to my kids over video call first. They were shy. Curious. Emma asked her 100 questions. Luke mostly just stared. But by the third call, they were laughing together. She's nice, Emma told me after. Weird but nice. Weird how? She said she burned water once. I smiled. Yeah, she did. Claire came to Seattle for Thanksgiving. It was awkward at first. My ex-wife, Jennifer, dropped the kids off and gave me a long look when she saw Claire standing in the doorway. So this is her, Jennifer said. Jennifer, this is Claire. Claire, Jennifer. They shook hands. Polite. Tense. The kids talk about you, Jennifer said to Claire. Good things, I hope, Claire said. Mostly. Jennifer smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. After she left, Claire let out a breath. That was terrifying. You did great, I said. Thanksgiving was chaotic. I burned the turkey. Claire tried to help, but ended up making things worse. Emma took over and somehow saved dinner. We ate together. The four of us. And for the first time in years, it felt like a family. Claire, Luke said, his mouth full of mashed potatoes. Are you going to be our stepmom? The table went silent. Claire looked at me. I looked at her. I don't know, she said gently. Would you want that? Luke shrugged. Maybe. You're cool. Emma rolled her eyes. Luke, you can't just ask people that. Why not? Because it's weird. You're weird. You're weirder. I laughed. Claire laughed. And just like that, the tension broke. That night, after the kids were in bed, Claire and I sat on the couch. This is nice, she said. Yeah, I agreed. It is. David, she said quietly. I think I'm falling in love with you. I turned to look at her. I think I'm falling in love with you too, I said. She smiled. Soft. Real. So what do we do now? I think, I said slowly, we stop pretending this is temporary. Meaning I want you to move here. Or I move there. I don't care which. But I want us to be together. Really together. Her eyes filled with tears. Are you sure? I've never been more sure of anything, I said. Claire moved to Seattle in the spring. It wasn't easy. She left behind her town, her routine, her quiet life. But she said it was worth it. We didn't get married right away. We wanted to wait. To make sure. But we built a life together. She moved into my apartment. She set up a small studio for her voice work. She met my friends, my coworkers, and slowly, she became part of my world. The kids loved her, not in a replacing their mom way, but in a she makes dad happy way. Emma would call her when she needed advice. Luke would ask her to help with his homework. And Claire showed up. Every time. One night, about a year after she moved, we were lying in bed. Do you ever regret it? I asked. Regret what? Saying yes. To me. To all of this. She turned to look at me. Never, she said. Do you? No, I said. But sometimes I still can't believe you said yes. She smiled. I can't believe you asked. I didn't mean to. I know, she said. But I'm glad you did. We got married 2 years after that first phone call. It was small. Just the kids. A few close friends. My brother. Claire's sister. We got married in a park in Seattle. The same park where we'd walked on one of her visits. Emma was my best man. Luke was Claire's. When the officiant asked if I took Claire to be my wife, I said yes. When they asked if she took me to be her husband, she said yes. Just like she had on the phone that night. But this time, we both knew what we were saying. Life wasn't perfect after that. We argued sometimes. About small things. About big things. Claire struggled with the noise of the city. I struggled with slowing down. The kids had hard days. Days when they missed their mom. Days when they felt torn between two homes. But we worked through it. Together. Emma graduated high school. Then college. She came to both of us for advice. Luke found his passion in music. Claire drove him to lessons every week. And slowly we built something that felt like forever. One night, many years later, I was sitting on the porch with Claire. The kids were grown. Emma was married. Luke was living in New York, chasing his dreams. It was just the two of us again. Do you ever think about that phone call? I asked. All the time, she said. Do you ever wonder what would have happened if you'd said no? She thought about it. I think I'd be fine, she said. But I wouldn't be happy. I wouldn't be either, I admitted. She leaned her head on my shoulder. I'm glad I said yes, she said. Me too, I said. People ask me sometimes how I knew. How I knew Claire was the one. And the truth is, I didn't. Not at first. But somewhere along the way, in all those phone calls, in all those quiet conversations, I realized something. Love isn't always loud. Sometimes it's a voice in the dark, reminding you that you're not alone. Sometimes it's a person who listens when you need to be heard. Sometimes it's saying yes to something that doesn't make sense because your heart knows what your head doesn't. Claire taught me that. She taught me that it's never too late to start over. That love doesn't have to be perfect to be real. That sometimes the best things in life are the ones you don't plan. I asked her to marry me as a joke, but her voice made it real. And I'll spend the rest of my life being grateful that she said yes. The end. What's one thing you believed was a joke that turned into the best decision of your life? Share your story. We'd love to hear it.